Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Nelly. What if I told you that that person that you love, that crush, that partner, or even that spouse may be standing on something greater, not because they chose to, but because you unknowingly placed them there. So I was in this long distance relationship with someone that I've never met. By the time I knew it, 3 years had gone. We began talking about marriage in less than a month, and I played along because I knew that this is a red flag. How can someone want to marry you in less than a month? Maybe COVID makes you do that. But anyway, we still talked. 6 months had gone by, and some of the borders and the airports were opened. This was when he was making plans to come and meet me. So he had to apply for his visa, and he got it in his first attempt. Unfortunately, the airline that he chose, they had to cancel all the flights due to COVID issues that were still lingering. So it was a total shutdown. In some of these countries, the borders and airports were not fully opened. His visa expired. He couldn't go via that country and he couldn't use it. Then he tried again, applying for another visa. This is when his passport was sitting in the immigration for months. He had to travel elsewhere for work. So he eventually just withdrew the application and asked for his passport back. This is when I began to ask myself, what's going on? Maybe there is really something wrong here. Maybe there's something that is blocking us not to meet. Even though we're both occupied with our work, we still kept this relationship going. By the time we both knew it, 3 years had gone past by. We were both so occupied with our work, and we didn't even get to ask ourselves why there's so much blockage when it comes to us meeting. This is when I began having these dreams about this person where I kept seeing him showing up. I was asking God to clarify these dreams. Why do I keep seeing this person? Some of these dreams were almost similar. Until one day I had this dream where God showed me his true intentions about this relationship. This is when I knew this whole thing is not going to work. It wasn't just a dream. God was showing me challenges that I'm going to face if I have to continue with this man. We still carried on and had a conversation. But after a few months, I had a dream where I clearly heard this voice saying to me, his work is done. It wasn't him. You are going to change. When I woke up in the morning, part of me was sad because I realized that this is a confirmation that this person had an assignment which he had already done. So there was no point in him staying because his assignment was already done. In those 3 years, I'd learned so much from him. I learned not to trust men, but trust God. Maybe at that time it's because I had also lost my dad and my mom was very sick. And here comes COVID. I was in that vulnerable stage where I needed someone to talk to. But in the process, he came into the picture. Even though it was a relationship kind of, but it had an assignment. I started turning my crush into an idol. So basically, you can turn that crush, your partner, or even your spouse into an idol because you're seeing them all the time. So sometimes we can take our dreams for granted, and yet this is a way that God can speak to you. Or maybe you're thinking about them all the time. So how many of you have turned that crush or even a partner or a marriage into an idol? So let's talk about these signs that you will see that you're beginning to worship this relationship and you're turning it into an idol. Because a lot of us may not be aware that you are beginning to idolize a relationship. So an idol is not just a religious term. It can be anything that consumes your mind, body, and soul. An idol could be a mirror that you stare so long that you forget your own reflection, what it looks like. But there are these signs that shows that you've turned that person into an idol. Sometimes you don't even realize. One of the signs that you'll notice is you lose yourself because you're always trying to please that person. You change your values, your interests, and even your personality just to please that person because of that fear of disapproval. Up to the point that you lose your own integrity just because you want to please that person. And the next point, they become your emotional center. Your mood rises and falls based on how they attend to you. When they're not around you, you become so anxious and thinking, what are they doing? Up to the point that sometimes, if you cannot control your mood, you'll end up being a stalker. You want to stalk that person, trying to find out what are they doing, where they are, who are they hanging around with. And it becomes toxic at the end of the day because your emotions are centered around that person. You neglect your own purpose, which comes to the next point. Your dreams are paused, your goals are forgotten because you're trying to revolve yourself around this person by maybe sometimes supporting their dreams and you forget your dreams. And this happens so much when you're married. You're basically focusing your partner's dreams and you forget what you wanted to do in the first place, what you had dreamt to do in the first place, because you're trying to support your partner and you pose your dreams, your goals, you forget them. You forget that you've always liked painting and you stop that. You forget that you've always liked cooking and you stop that because you're supporting your partner. Your life is living through them, but not with them. Up to the point that it will take you to separate with that person for you to realize your true self, your dreams, and your goals. And when there's people around you who are seeing that you're beginning to idolize your partner or your marriage, which comes to the next point, you justify your toxic behavior. You've got all the excuses in the world. Even though you now feel spiritually disconnected, you still have those excuses, which comes to the next point. Your relationship is slowly pulling you away from your faith, your values, and your inner peace. And you know that. You don't pray anymore. You don't go to church anymore because you're trying to entertain this guy around you. You're not spiritually growing together anymore. If he tells you you're not going to church, you don't ask why. You just accept what he's telling you because you're idolizing him. You don't want to disappoint him. And you don't realize that being in a relationship where you're idolizing a person can become very dangerous. This person is like dangling the carrot and you're accepting it. Because that relationship would create that imbalance that was not meant to carry your soul. It may lead to resentment as well. You become burnout because you're trying to please that person. When you are going to place someone in that pedestal, you're not just elevating them, you are lowering yourself. So how do you even reclaim your heart? You need to find yourself outside your relationship. Have friends that you are going to hang out with, or even keep yourself busy with something. Don't just get stuck and revolve your life around that person. Do something. Keep yourself busy. Maybe you can even start building your spiritual foundation and rediscover yourself by setting those emotional boundaries. Ask yourself a lot of questions with regards to this relationship. Are you in this relationship because it's a two-way thing, or maybe you are idolizing this one person? Because love should expand you, not erase you. You're never meant to worship someone who bleeds like you do. You're meant to love freely, deeply, and wisely without losing yourself in the process. So, have you felt like you've lost yourself? Share your story in the comments below. And thank you for watching and see you in the next video.